got Norm over here and got a very special thing for you guys. This is really special. Got my buddy Jonathan Stout and Riley Baker over here, his bass player, and the name of the band is
Campus 5.
And he's going to be playing a very important guitar and something with a lot of history. And so I just want you to check this out. This guitar, this L5-C over here, was owned and played by the Mills brothers. Alan Norman Brown was the guitar player, played with them. And it's about a 55 L5-C in Blonde. And of course Riley's using his upright bass. But what's really kind of amazing about this is one of the most well-documented vintage guitars I've ever had. And one of the most important, the Mills brothers were huge. They were the predecessor to a lot of the doo-wop bands, the vocal groups. So many groups like the Platters. The Mills brothers came in before them in the 30s.
Yeah.
You know a little bit about them.
Yeah, and they backed up. They not only recorded in the 30s all the way through the 60s, but they recorded with people like Duke Ellington and Louis Armstrong and Ella Fitzgerald and Bing Crosby, and not like later when they were all just kind of relatively famous, but like when they were doing their most important work. So this is like in the 30s, they're recording with Duke Ellington in 32 and Louis and stuff like that. So they're the real deal.
Later on, they were on the Dean Martin show and things like that on a regular basis. Dean Martin was crazy about the Mills brothers. And they had so many huge hit tunes. They were Grammy Award winners. I mean, a lot of stuff. But check this out. So this is a beautiful L5-C. It is also pictured on both of these albums. This is that guitar. This is an original painting with that guitar. This right here, check this out. This was from the Board of Supervisors in LA. So many great pictures of this guitar. It is so well documented. We even have something like a death certificate from when he passed away in 1969, and just loaded with like newspaper clippings, press clippings from the Mills brothers, and just one of the most historical guitars we've ever had. And I'm really proud to have been the steward and owner of this for a while. But actually a buddy of mine who's committed to buying this thing, so a very good friend, and he's a good person for it because he was a big fan of the Mills brothers. And Jonathan Stout and Riley Baker, they're going to play a little something that's kind of a tribute to the Mills brothers.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do?
I think we'll start off with a little bit of I Can't Believe That You're in Love With Me.
Okay. Well, I like it, but all right, there you go.
All right. And by the way, when Norm told me about this guitar, I went on YouTube right away, and every single TV clip of them you can find on YouTube is this cutaway L5. So this thing's been really played. So a little I Can't Believe That You're in Love With Me. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
That is the great Jonathan Stout and Riley Baker. These guys kill. Nobody plays that stuff better than Jonathan and Riley and the Campus 5. Check them out. Where can they find you guys online?
You can find us, everything's on Bandcamp. If you just look up my name, Jonathan Stout. I also want to tell you about lessons at the DC Music School, run by my buddy Dennis Chang. And there's a 3-volume course on my style of guitar playing, 2 volumes of electric Charlie Christian style, and then 1 of that kind of Alan Roos chord melody style. So if you want to learn how to do that, that's the first place you can look. So check that out, Bandcamp and Dennis Chang Music School.
Really cool. And that style, it's a dying art. And this is a guy who's keeping it alive right here. And Mills Brothers, just tell us how influenced you were by
I mean, the Mills Brothers were really cool because it wasn't just a vocal group, they were jazz musicians. So what they figured out is one of them would basically sing like a tuba player or a bass player in a jazz band. And then one of them would sing the melody and the other 2 would basically pretend they were horns and do harmonies and fills between the vocals, and they would harmonize all this cool stuff, and they were basically just backed up by one guitar, and then you know,
right there.
yeah, and this guitar, and then one of them basically doing vocal bass like an a cappella group might. But like I said, they recorded with Armstrong and Ellington, so these were like the real deal jazz cats, and so a lot of times they would do kind of mimic horn solos, like one of them would bring out a kazoo and do kind of a muted trumpet sound, and you know, I think nowadays we think of that as corny, but back then they were like as awesome as other horn players because they could really swing. So and then they had just, you know, amazing platinum success with things like Glowworm in the 50s and Paper Doll and backing people like Ella Fitzgerald later on, and then obviously all these TV appearances. So they had a really long career, but I always try to make a point that, like, no, they were like the real deal hot jazz stuff. They weren't just like a pop group, you know. They could really swing. So.
Can you take us out with one other Mills Brothers
Yeah,
kind of thing?
it's an honor. It's an honor to play it, and let's do a little Devil in the Deep Blue Sea.
All right.
All right.
In the People's Key of F, which is not the People's Key.
Okay.
Da, do, do, do. Da, da, ba, da, 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 da. Just like we rehearsed it.
This guy is the bomb, one of the greatest guitar players ever to come through this store. And I'm telling you, if you're a guitar player, you want to learn, check this guy out. He's really something else. Killing on the upright bass.
Thanks, man.
And just doing it justice. The Mills Brothers guitar, playing Mills Brothers tunes, right here at Norm's Rare Guitars. Love you guys. Thanks for watching our videos.